Elements are a big deal in the ClickFunnels editor because without them, your funnels would just look like this. And we don't want that. Today, I'm going to walk you through all the text elements in the ClickFunnels editor and how to use them effectively. So let's get into it. Okay, so here I am in my ClickFunnels account, and you can see here in the ClickFunnels editor for ClickFunnels 1.0, there are 36 elements total, but today's video, we're only going to be covering 5. So let me show you how these all work. So elements are the things that are bordered in orange, okay? So that's an element. If it is bordered in blue, that is a row. And if it's bordered in like this turquoise/green, it's a section, okay? So all of our elements are going to be orange. So if I want to add a new element to my page, I can do that by clicking this plus sign, adding a new element. I can also go up here to the top where it says elements and click on add an element, and it's going to take me to the same place. Really quick, on the right hand side, you can see I have selected all. So these are going to be all 36 elements. But if I want to look at a particular section, for example, in this video, we're only going to be doing the text elements. I can click on this and it's only going to show me the text elements, or I can see only the media elements or form elements. So that's really nice. That can help you look for specific elements, or you can just go to all and scroll through and find the ones that you want. Okay, so let's dive into this. So first, the most common one is a headline, okay? So I can click on this here and it's gonna add it in. I can also, if that's for some reason not working, I can also drag it in. And where this solid orange line is where the element is going to show up. And default, it's going to say large call to action headline. Now, first, what I wanna show you guys is if you're completely new to elements, this can be kind of confusing and is something that no one really ever talks about. But if I hover over this, I'll be able to access the settings for this element. But if I just single click in the center of this element, it's gonna pull up this little like blue section. Now don't confuse this with a row, but this is going to allow me to bold, italicize, underline, strike through, and then change the orientation of the text on the page, or I'll be able to link the text. I have to select the text, then click on the link. I can then add, if I get rid of this pound sign here, I can add a link in here, choose the color, and when people click on this, it's going to link them somewhere else. So that's really cool. You can do that with your text. Again, make sure you highlight it before you link it. Let me go ahead and add a new headline in here to show you guys. I'm gonna just delete this element. So you can do that. For your headlines, they're always by default going to be bolded. So if I want to unbold them, I can just select the text and then unbold it there. Now let's go into the settings, okay, for this element. So those are gonna show up here on the right-hand side. I've got my top margin, so the space from my element and the element up above it. I can select a font here, so they've got a couple like automatic default fonts here in ClickFunnels, or I can browse all Google fonts and it's gonna give me a massive list of fonts that I can scroll through. So you can choose the font there. If I go back, I can change the font size by dragging that to the right or to the left. The mobile size, this is what you change when you're trying to make your funnels mobile friendly. So if I have this set here like 58 on my desktop, it looks really great. That's really large for a mobile size. So I can go in here and edit the mobile text there without it changing how it looks on the desktop. Then we've got text color, bold color. So if I choose this here, boom, it's automatically going to change it. Even though this headline's bolded, it's a little funky, I know. But what you can do with it is, so if I take this all, actually, let's say I wanted to just emphasize headline. So I did that there. I can make the text color a different color from the bold. Okay, so let's go in here, black, and I need to change the bold color. There. So that's a way that I can really easily make certain words stand out on my funnel page, is by bolding certain letters and then having the rest not bolded, and I can change that there. I can do the background color of this element. So if I do this here, you can see for that particular element, it's going to add in a background color, or I can just take that, drag it all the way to the left, and it's gonna remove it. An icon color, and then border color. I'll get to that in just a second. I can also do the opacity, so half fade of the text or heavy fade. I can do all that there. And then typography type, okay? This is really interesting because in my funnel, before I go in and start editing things, if I go into settings and I go into typography, I can add a font for my content and my headline. I can also choose text color, and link colors. And that's a way that you can go in and make it really easy in the editing process, make things go really fast. So if I've selected fonts in there, I don't want to have to go through every single text element and choose the font. So I can go in here, do typography type, and choose content font or headline font, and it will automatically change it for me. So that's really cool. That's everything you're gonna see here on the settings. And then if I go here into advanced, we have styles. Now this is gonna be the same across the board for most, if not all, of your text elements, okay? So we have line height here. It's gonna automatically default it to this 1.3 EM. So I can change it. It's just gonna change the line height there. I don't usually ever mess with this because I don't ever see really that big of a difference, but that's what that is. Text transformed. So right now I have it capitalized or uppercase. Yeah, capitalized. Oh my gosh, Kyla. So let's say I wanted it to be all caps. So I can click uppercase and it's gonna change the text so I don't have to go back and retype it. Or let's say I want it all lowercase and I can change that there or capitalize it. Letter spacing, I can make the letters really far apart from each other or really close together. So you can do that there or just leave it at normal. You can add a text shadow. So subtle shadow. That is hard to say close together. A mid shadow or a strong shadow. Now just be careful with this depending on what type of font you're using. It can make the text a little bit harder to read, so just keep that in mind. But if you're using it correctly, it can really help your text stand out on the page. So let's take that back to no shadow, and then I can create text columns. So I can do up to 4 columns. I can do 2 columns here, 3 columns, 4 columns. So it's really just broken my text up here, really funky. And you can do that to make different columns there with your text, which is nice. And here we have an icon picker. So whenever it says icon picker, it's always going to add the icon in front of your text, okay? So if I click on this here, I actually have to search here in this bar. I don't want to search where I've just clicked to find an icon. So let's just say I wanted to do a star. So I can search there, add in a star, and it's gonna add that in. And then if I go back into settings, I can change the icon color here. So if I wanted to change that to red, I could do that, and that's where I add in the icon. If I want to get rid of the icon, I'm just gonna click on this and delete it, and it's gonna remove the icon for me. Then we have the padding. So this is gonna be the space above and below your element. So I can make the padding really big, and you can see it's gonna increase this space here up top and underneath. Then if we go to border radius, wow, Kyla, I cannot speak. Border radius. This is gonna allow me to create a border within my element. So you can do this with rows and with sections. And what's gonna kind of happen is I gotta build the border, and it's not till the next like couple steps that you'll actually be able to see the border. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so border radius, I can choose, this is like how rounded the corners are. So if I do like 15 there, radius edges, I'm gonna leave it on all edges. Borders, so I'm creating my border, but I know you still can't see it yet. Border, no border, I wanna do a full border, so around the entire element. Border style, let's do dashed. Still can't see it. You won't see it until you do border size. So if I do 2 pixels there, oh, is my padding? Yep, let's decrease the padding there so you guys can see it. So there you guys can see my border size. Let's do bigger. There we go. And so that's gonna allow me to do that. And if I go back here into settings, I can change the border color. So I can change that there and do all that stuff. And then the last thing in this styles is the shadow. So I can add a shadow on this element. 40% drop shadow, you can see that there, or I can do 40% inner shadow. Those are gonna be the most drastic. Here, if I get rid of this border, so you guys can see, there you go. That is with just the element. So I know I spent a lot of time here in this. Don't worry, this is gonna be the same for every single text element, but I feel like no one actually goes through this. And so a lot of people don't know that these resources are actually here. So that's really nice. That's in the advanced tab. Let's talk about this animation, okay? Again, this is gonna be the same for all the text elements. So I'm just gonna cover this once and just know that you can do this for all of your text elements. This, you can add an animation, all right? So what this is going to do is you can do like a time delay, which I'm not really gonna worry about this, so I'm just gonna leave that at none, but you can choose a type. So I can do on-page load or on-page scroll, it becomes visible. So if someone's scrolling on your page, for example, and you want text to come in and make it a little bit more engaging to the eye, you can do that. So if let's do on page scroll, I can choose the style. So let me I want to create a different row here with 2 columns just to really illustrate this for you guys. So let me add a headline in there, and I'm actually going to just add an image here on this side just to really illustrate what this looks like. And what I did actually just cloned this top section, so I actually have a page to scroll so I can show you guys. So for this text here, let's go back here into our settings. There we go. We're gonna go into advanced and animation. So time delay, I'm gonna do none for right now. Type, let's do on scroll. Fade in, let's do from right. And delay, we want this to be pretty quickly because we don't want someone to be scrolling, and if the delay is really long, they're gonna like scroll past and just think nothing's there because they would have to spend 500 milliseconds on that point for it to show up. So for right now, I'm just gonna do like 5. And let's also do it for the image. So you can do this for images, pretty much anything here with these elements. I'm gonna just leave it at none. Type, we'll do on scroll, fade in. This time we're gonna do from the left, and let's also do 5 here. And let me show you guys how this looks. So we're gonna save this, and if I preview it, oh cool, here's our page, boom, and it slides in like that. How cool is that? So that is the animation. Let's go back here into the text really quick, the advanced settings. With this time delay, this is just gonna delay it even further. I don't know what this fade in with scale is. I tried looking it up, I tried looking everywhere and tried testing it. Have no idea what that means. So if you guys know what that means, let me know down in the comments, but that's how you do the animation. So let me get rid of all of this extra stuff here. And now we're back to normal. That is your headline, but all of those things we covered are going to be applicable for all of the other text elements. Next, we have the sub headline. So this is just going to be a little bit smaller. This default is not bolded, so that's really nice. But again, if I click on the center and I highlight it, I can bold it, italicize, underline, strike through, all of that good stuff there, and then change the orientation and link the text. If I go here into the settings, you guys are going to see the exact same things. Top margin, I can change the font size, mobile size, I can change the text color and bold color. Obviously, I need to bold something in order to add that bold color. I can add a background color for this particular element, icon color, border color, you guys know the whole spiel. And then if I go into advanced, you're gonna see the exact same thing. So if I want to add an icon to the beginning of this, I can do that. If I want to add a shadow to the text or a shadow around the element, I can do that and add an animation. The next text element that we have here, if we go here into text, is a paragraph. So this is going to allow me to add lots of text really easily without worrying about it being like super massive and adding it all within a headline or a sub headline. So I can do that there. Again, the default for this is not going to be bolded, and I can just select this here and start, if I click on the page, I can start typing my text just like that, and I can type all of that in there. If I click on the settings for this one, again, it's all gonna be the exact same. So that's why I spent a lot of time there at the beginning going through it for the headline, because it's the exact same for all of these. So the next one we have is a bullet list. This one is pretty cool because it's gonna allow me to add a list of benefits, features, things within my offer, all of that good stuff. So if I click on this here, I can start typing. So it's going to automatically bold these things here. I can leave that as is. So let's say if this was like tip number 1, I can leave that bolded, or tip number 2, or I can highlight it and unbold it. Okay, so you can do that there. Let's do tip number 3, and I can type in my list there. If I click on this and do another one or click return, it's going to add another check mark, okay? So that's how you build out your list. If I click on the settings here, this looks a little bit different. So first I do the list type. So icon list or ordered list, I can select which one there. And then the bullet spacing, actually, let me move this here over to the left. Actually, let's do the center so you guys can see this. I know that doesn't look amazing, but so you guys can see it while I'm on this editing screen. So I can increase the space in between the bullets. I can do the left margin, so meaning how far away from the left it is. Again, you can see it's not gonna move it a ton, but with the mix of the little blue section that I can edit within and this left margin, you can mess with that. I can do the font size here. Then we've got text color, bold color, icon color. Okay, so I can mess with those there. This one though, you can also choose the theme. So if I wanted to change the theme of how it looked, it's automatically gonna move it over. But you guys can see here, oh, it's because it's gonna fill up the entire element. Let's see, how can I make it so you guys can see this? Let's just drag it right there. Okay, so we've got that. I can change it here. Now, when I select a specific theme, I can't change the colors of it. So like I have to pick the colors that I want in the theme. Because let's say I chose this green. If I go back here into settings, there's no way for me to change how that looks. I can change the icon color, so the check marks, but I can't actually change the color unless I change it somewhere in the theme. So going with a basic white is never a bad idea. Or if you like one of these colors, you can do that. Now, if I go here into advanced, this looks different, icon picker. So I can change what the icon is. So if I click on this here, let's say I wanted a dot, I can add dots in there instead. Let's say I want to do a star. Again, I can add a star. What happens like if I search line? What's gonna come up? Okay, so I can add all sorts of icons in there, and I can do it for all three and add that in, or do different ones if you want. And then animation is gonna be the same. I can have an animation for this. I don't believe you can animate each individual bullet list. It has to be the entire thing. Yeah, because I would have to be able to select the settings for each individual tip. So this is only going to animate the entire bullet list, but that's how you adjust it there. And again, if you want to change your icon colors, you can do that right there. And then the last one is a quote. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I did a ton of research on this, and I have no idea the point of this element. It seems completely useless. That is honestly my opinion. So if I add in here this quote, after adding this in, you can see it's automatically gonna add like quotation marks. So I can't even add this in here because I don't want quotation marks there. Like that's all it does. Like it automatically adds quotation marks and makes, I guess the other thing too is you can only do it on the left. Like if I click on these here and try and move it over, it doesn't work. It's only going to show up on the left-hand side. So that's the only two like differences that I found. But I'm like, why wouldn't you just add in like a sub headline? Like if I just clone this here and bring this down, but why wouldn't I just add in my quote there and I can adjust it? It looks better. I can change where it fits on the page and I can just type in the quotation marks. I don't know. So honestly, this quote element seems completely useless. I've never used it to build any funnels, but let me know if you've used this element in any of your funnels. I don't really see the point in it. I would just use like a sub headline or a headline if you're going to add in quotes, but I guess that's one way. If you don't feel like typing in the quotation marks, you can use that. One last thing, like you guys saw, if I want to move an element, I click on this move and I drag it up where I see the orange line. And if I let go, it's going to move the element up there. I can clone it like you guys saw and just make an exact copy of the element, or I can delete it. But that is all of the text elements in ClickFunnels. So there you guys go. Hopefully that gives you an in-depth look at how to use all of those different text elements in ClickFunnels. I just feel like there's a lot of videos out there showing you how to use various elements, and ClickFunnels has their own like support channel where they've created videos. First of all, they're a little old and outdated, but a lot of times they don't actually go into the nitty-gritty details of these elements, and I really wanted to make sure you guys knew that. So that's why I wanted to create this video. If you guys found any value, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for spending your time here on this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, dudes. 'Cause I've been living